We celebrate our nation, our future, Uganda, and believe in the beautiful game of football in Uganda. We believe our motherboard. When the boys and girls to become stars of the Uganda Cranes and the Crested Cranes and the Sun Cranes. Come on, our fans, our gallant fans, our sponsors, our dear government to support the beautiful game. One tribe, one family, one religion, one nation. It is our game, it's our country, it's our joy, it's our the past and present stars, the fallen and living heroes, the coaches and referees, the players and the officials make this game. One tribe, one family, one religion, one nation. It is our game, it's our country, it's our joy, it's our nation.
Hello, a very fantastic evening to you viewers. Wherever you're viewing us live from, I would like to say thank you so much for always being hooked to Sararights TV. This is the biggest TV that we do have got in Western, that we do have got in Arua City. Wherever you're catching us live from, I would like to say once again, thanks so much for always being part of the Sports Desk Show right here. This is the biggest evening actually Sports Desk Show in here, whereby you give you in-depth analysis in the world of sports. And Senior Gero is my name. This show is proudly sponsored by Sabirima Global Ventures Limited. They are the only sole sponsor of this show. You too can come in and also dump some money here, and we can give money for your business. I'm not alone in the studio. First things first, I do have my colleague and my brother from the land of wise men. That's from the east. That's none other than Bwana PJ right here with me in the studios.
Yeah, I want to say a very good evening to you, Gero, and the view of Sararights TV, because most of the times when you get an opportunity to be live on such an amazing and wonderful TV, definitely the feeling is absolutely different.
Yeah.
But I can confirm to you, we're going to be giving our best to the viewer and the listener at the same time.
But you look good. Well, I don't know what's the secret behind.
My friend, good things are happening in the city. You know, yesterday while people were stressing themselves of elections, for me I was just sober in my room. So no stress. For us, some of us like doing things in the opposite way.
But are you saying all this because I'm put on a yellow tax?
Then you have answered yourself.
But that's not the case. We are here for sports, and this is what we shall be discussing for you. Remember, the political watch will come here tomorrow. And then definitely we shall give you in-depth analysis of what happened yesterday in the game of politics. But here, we are for sports. Gero is my name, like you said. So many talking points, but right here we shall begin from home. We shall be talking about the fate of Onduparaka Football Club in what we call the big league next season. And there's a big news coming from that side, and we shall be delving into that at a later time. And then what are some of the biggest stories making headlines this evening includes Team Vipers appointing a new head coach. Who the head coach is, we shall be telling him, because he has got a rich history in African football. We shall be telling that one into details in there. And then the biggest one is Manchester United finally getting the deal done for Brian Mbeumo. So this guy will be crossing over to United, and then Arsenal over the weekend. They are actually long chasing striker in the names of Victor Gyökeres will be flying for medicals with the Gunners over the weekend. This is what we shall be discussing exclusive here on Sararights TV. But let's first take it from home, and we discuss our own club here. Actually, that we do have got in Western. The biggest one is Onduparaka Football Club, and there were reports that the previous manager kind of stepped down and said that they want actually they want help, and they are not going to support this team anymore. But in the midway, the interim people came in and steered the team very well in the remaining games in the Football Big League, and the team remained put in the Big League. Actually, they will be playing in what we call 2025-2026 season in the Big League, and their fate seems to be quiet. And what is the latest coming from on the practical? Remember, those who took the team on interim basis did submit a letter to the previous manager saying that they want actually to see that whether they will be in position to handle the club again or else. It's now the all managers taking back their club, and that was dated on 15th of this very month, and that actually didn't come to pass. And the reality now is, so what we're expecting is that the two parties are sitting back on the 26th of this month. What is the latest from Onduparaka Football Club regarding the club activities, PJ?
A lot is happening at Onduparaka Football Club, and if you observe them critically, if you give listening ear, you'll understand that majority of what is coming from Onduparaka is negative. Yeah. Because this is a point at which we expected Onduparaka to be at high gear of how best they can be able to kickstart the next season, because they survived. In fact, after surviving, they were able to finish the season in a very good position. Then definitely that means they should have capitalized on that energy they used, especially towards the end of last season, to see that they remained in the league. But unfortunately, like I said, most of the stories coming that side seems to be negative. One, you had talked of the aspect of the interim management and the club owners meeting on the 15th, which today is already 18th, and the day has been postponed like up to 26. Yes. This is already a negative energy coming towards the club, and at the same time the board of the club. I'm talking about the interim, at the same time the management. Anyway, reasons best known to them as to why they have decided to change this very particular date in which they were supposed to meet. And then another negative news that I really see it has brought down the club to some extent is the number of players who have left the club, who are already moving out. You'll mention some key names like Bida Ezra, who has crossed to South Sudan League. You'll mention Gama William, who has been one of the pivotal midfielders for Team Onduparaka Football Club, at the same time West Nile Province. You won't forget to talk about Andama Jr., who also had the best of his season last season after crossing from Calvary back to Onduparaka Football Club. So this is an indication that it's going to be very hard for the club, because here you look at the aspect of the club going to struggle in order to bring names in order to carry the club once again. But now the question is, how are they going to convince these players to come in? The question will be, why did the previous players leave, or why did the players who actually carried the burden of Onduparaka last season leave the club? So those will be some of the questions that the newly approached players who would really be wanted at the club will ask themselves. And sometimes you find those good quality players will not really want to come, because it's all about doing your best and progressing, not really getting demotions here and there. So generally, I want to look at it like it's a negative move, seeing Onduparaka still mark timing. Yeah, at the time we expected them to march forward, because letting go Samson Sizokuti, because right now is with one of the regional league clubs that side of Nebi. Then there's already a gap created there. Then you won't rule out the fact that some of the management team will definitely as well make such decisions, though the news has not come out. So these are some of the anticipations I'm already putting. So if you ask me about the fate of Onduparaka Football Club, it lies in the hands of the club management, the bosses, because it is them to sit down and either decide to leave the interim management continue with the affairs of the club, or either decide to come fully and do it the way they used to do it when they were about to fail. So So, like I said, the faith belongs to the management. And I believe it's not yet late if they can be able to meet this scheduled date so that they're able to share a few things. Then we as the media are aware of what is trending that side of Ababed Green Stadium, so that we also have that comfort. Because you hinted something, Onduparaka is the biggest club. No doubt about that. When you talk about football in West Nile actually went into the maps of the world because of Onduparaka Football Club. We all know that. And Onduparaka has given mileage and given opportunity for very many West Nile players to see the outside world. You'll mention names like Jaga. He's the top notch right now. Somebody can talk about, because Onduparaka has done a lot of things in him. That's why he has never forgotten about Onduparaka. Alionji Nafian, who happens to be the darling goalkeeper of Uganda Cranes right now.
Yes.
So definitely you will kind of look at Onduparaka as a club that shouldn't be in the FUFA Big League right now. And I look at it like a club that should actually strategize early. You know, Onduparaka is supposed to be like an example to the rest of the clubs we have in this very particular region. At least they have already gone through a lot. They already understand the game of football in Uganda. And so a lot of things about Onduparaka. But when you talk about where they're right now and where they're heading to, it's really, really appalling that they are heading into the negative direction. But I believe this sitting is going to take place and strategies are going to be laid. And they should actually make sure that some players who took part last season should remain at the club, and they should be able to bring in other figures, top-notch players.
Okay, Peter, let's first talk about Onduparaka being a community club.
Yep.
We have seen several community-based clubs in Ugandan history, and this is a club that actually performed well when it comes to going forward with with the new innovations. And one of the clubs I'm talking about is AC Villa.
Yep.
This is a community-based team. Then the latest is Team Chitara Football Club. They have been a community club, and the fan base has been there. And Onduparaka as well, we all know they are a community-based club. And it being a community-based club, they are supposed to do what we call funding for this club. And the fans are supposed to be the ones who have got that lion's share. They have to buy tickets. They have to do everything to see that this club remains actually in the Ghana Premier League. Why is this thing not happening here with the Onduparaka Football Club, other than other clubs are having this kind of initiative? Remember, even in the regional league, a team in the names of Pakos Young Stars is doing that, and Onduparaka Football is failing to deal with the community-based activities. What is actually happening with this team when it comes to giving it back to the community?
Gero, there's one thing we need to understand. Of late, if you can remember very well, season before last season, at a certain point, Onduparaka would come out saying, or as the board would come out, this date, the game we played against this club, we collected this amount of money.
Yeah.
At a certain point.
Yes.
But did it continue? It didn't. It stopped somewhere.
Yes.
So one thing we need to also understand is that Onduparaka of late has been rich when it comes to fans.
Yes.
The whole of Uganda, you will rate them even the first. To my own understanding, because this is a club that has hugely been supported by fans within and without. I mean the ones in diaspora as well.
Yes.
They have been having a very big impact. I think the reason as to why this support of late reduced is because of lack of transparency and lack of accountability to some extent.
Yes.
Because if I can remember very well, there was a point at which Onduparaka came up with the project of buying a bus.
Yes.
Where is the bus right now? That is the million-dollar question that a fan will ask. Money was generated, and if you ask the management right now,
does this mean that the fans should demand for their bus?
Why not? If not, because this is something they have ejected money in, and know that that's the reason as to why last season the fan base reduced.
Now, who is supposed to be accountable when it comes to fans' demand for that bus?
That now depends on the structure of the club, because I can't now mention a particular person here, because by then the owners of the club were, although it is a community club, there was that particular person named and says this is his club. We all knew that, and we are all aware of that, and that is the same management who officially handed the club to the interim management last season. But at a time when they said...
But remember, there were some individuals who were currently off with the club.
their off on duty or in action came when the club was about to fall down. You all, I mean, you equally know that very well. So I think, in nutshell, what I can say is, you know, there are a lot of irregularities that has been happening at Onduparaka Football Club. If addressed, will be okay. But I know some of these are going to be addressed at a wrong time when other fans have given up.
All right, Peja, let's first talk about the Onduparaka story still again. Because we have seen leaders in that team coming and they always leave the club at a major up stage.
Yep.
One of them is the former CEO in the name of Afeti Tony. You remember, he left, Oteru left when he was the PR of the club, and Lulamak left. You could talk about other prominent figures in that team.
You talk of Drabe.
I'm coming to that point.
Yeah.
So the leaders who are stepping down, and there are those who thought they have got that high authority, and they still stick with this club. And these are the very people who are making this club to come down. What is happening, and what should be best done to see that this club changes leaders? Even if you are the club president, you need to step down. You need to give back to someone to take over.
I hinted something. You know, it is, you know, in such a company, I want to call it a company. There are very many people. Ideas are always requested.
It's not an entity.
It's the best term you can use, depending on. So I think what I expect out of Onduparaka right now is they should know that the club, like they say, belongs to the community.
Yeah.
They need to value the opinion of the community, and they need to entrust somebody whom they are not going to criticize a lot, because most of the times you find some of these people leave because of their colleagues. They will end up telling you that the working environment is not okay because so and so is against whatever thing I do at the club.
Okay, Peter, let's first come to this. Remember, Samson Sidukuti was at the helm of the team.
Yep.
Taking the team through last season in what we call the big league games, and he never lifted the building with the club. And the club actually hired an interim board in the name of Sedik Sembiji, who came in and make amends to the team and make sure that the team survived the relegation. So the Onduparaka Football Club go back to their actual all gadgets. I mean, those are the all leaders. You see that this club remains put in what we call the big league always work hard to see that the team gets promoted to Southern Ghana Premier League, because we've seen those are the all leaders. Whenever they go to another club, they perform. Remember, Sabasaba was here. He was working with the CEO of Onduparaka. He crossed over to Black Powers. He's doing amazing well. Oteru and Tony, they went to
Sararights Sports Club.
They worked actually very well in there. Is it high time that all these figures need to come back and see that this team goes back to where it belongs?
I don't think that is an ideal solution for Team Onduparaka Football Club right now, because as these people left, there were a lot of talks.
Of course, you talked about lack of trust, and the leaders are not capable enough.
One thing I also want to hint about Onduparaka is I know and I believe that there's some hidden curriculum at Onduparaka Football Club. That is not making people to stay there for quite a long time. And I attribute it to financial issues, because of late the case has been players are not paid.
That's the reality.
Then definitely the management or as people who are to work in the technical team might also not been paid. That is one big fact we need to understand here.
That's the reality, of course.
So bringing those people back won't solve that issue. And that means it needs to go back. No. And the question will be, is there no money at Onduparaka Football Club?
You see, the reason why I'm saying that is because you see, the figures in the game of football, whenever they come in, and these figures, they always have a common idea, and that work perfectly. We have seen that one with the Ruakili Sports Club of late.
Yeah.
And Calvary, I thought it very well. They sat down and they worked out perfectly, and they back to the Southern Ghana Premier League. So I brought the idea of those guys coming back to see that this club goes back to the Southern Ghana Premier League, because we've seen quality players leaving this team. They're going to other clubs. Others are going to South Sudan. Others are going to other clubs in what we call the big leagues and the Southern Ghana Premier League. What could be best done to see that this club comes back to limelight? Of course, we have seen a couple of leaders in this club, and these are capable leaders, but not the current generation of leaders at the club. I don't trust them.
Gero, one thing you need to understand about running such affairs is the question will be, where did we leave the club? At what level? And definitely you won't expect somebody like Otelul Vegas to come when the club is at that level, and yet he left the club at the Startimes Ghana Premier League level.
I remember I talked to you about figures, and figures matters best in football.
Yes.
And Otelul has got that actual figure with some of the key players in Uganda football. You remember, football in Uganda is based on state on state.
But have you forgotten the critics he went through?
Anyway, let's leave it at that and talk about other stories. Remember, Onduparaka Football Club after the struggle continues, like you say, and their fate is still unknown whether this team will be playing what we call the big league next season. Of course, the players are leaving. Where will they get new players from? They are saying that they don't have the money. Ababet is going away. So where will Onduparaka Football Club get the money from? Will it get the money back from the community, or else will they go into the bank and withdraw that money of the past money to see that the club affairs are run smoothly in there? But we will come back to that at a later time. Let's first talk about the latest that's coming in from Sports Club Villa. Remember, they were the champions of the Startimes Ghana Premier League, and remember they also won what we call the Uganda Cup as well. So finally, they have gotten a new coach in the names of Ivan Jackie from Belgium. So this is an experienced coach when it comes to African football, and he is actually a UEFA Pro licensed coach. He can coach anywhere in the world, and Vipers have actually signed a coach with the level of coaching that FIFA deserves, and he is here with Vipers Football Club. Remember, Vipers actually got him from a club in the names of Fasel Football Club down in Liberia. That's when he has been playing. You remember, at that team, he won what we call the league trophy with them, and the Vipers have kind of got him here. He has got that experience of African football. He has been here for long. He has been in Spain, which I'll be giving you some brief background about that. But let me first bring in PJ. Vipers never trusted Johnny Ayala and Fred Muhumuza at the helm, who won for them a domestic double, and they've gone for a foreign coach. Why all this at this point of time? Does it mean that our homegrown coaches here, they don't have the peppers, or they don't have the mentality or the capability of taking up to the clubs here to the highest level?
Gero, one thing we need to understand about Vipers is result-oriented, and given the chance, given the opportunity, after seeing you have done your part, they will always let you go and go for another figure who will come in with the new things and so on. Because this is a coach who is going to come in, let go some players and bring in some of the players of his choice, because there's money at Vipers. We all know that. So I believe trusting this guy is actually based on the fact that he has been taking part in different clubs within Africa, and he already has some good friendship with some of the quality players we have in Africa. And trust me, his presence is going to bring in a number of foreign players to Vipers Soccer Club. You see, like I hinted at the onset, Vipers is not just any other club in Uganda. Right now, Vipers should be the Liverpool of Uganda. Because, they sign when they want, they let go a coach when they want, because they have that money, and each time they look at that quality, who should come and produce the result you want. So I think this figure, like you hinted, is a quality coach who has been working in different entities. But I think one big wise decision that has been made here is just letting go the head coach, but leaving some of the technical team on ground to work with this very new coach. You talk about the likes of John Ayala and Fred Muhumuza. These are some of the key figures Vipers had of late, and of course, leaving them on ground means these are the people who are going to tell him what to do at a certain point. These are the people he can consult at one point. Because sometimes you find it's a wrong decision when you let go the whole technical team, then you come in with a new one who is going to show you the directions of the club and what best to do. So I think Vipers getting a new coach, like their history reads, they don't do changes based on poor performance. Anytime the club chairman comes in and has the money at hand, will make that decision.
Okay. PJ, let's first look at his actual coaching career history. He has been a silverware. Wherever he goes, he at least wins trophies. And does it mean that at the Vipers Football Club, this will be his maiden season? And Morindo, it will be important to see that he went for a coach who has got that record of winning or winning silverware wherever he goes in. when he was actually at Libya, he won trophies. He went to Tanzania, he won trophies. Here actually in Rwanda, he also won trophies. So he's coming back to Uganda, and he's coming to one of the most recognized and the powerhouse of Ugandan football. That's Vipers for you. Does this mean that he's coming in and his first impact will be winning actually any trophy for Team Vipers?
It will depend on how he's going to assemble this team. Because Vipers currently is a motivated side. They have quality players. They have everything it takes to win a trophy. So it won't be a surprise if in his first season lands on a silverware. So I don't have doubt about him because he has, like you said, rich history. He has won trophies in different parts of Africa. You talk about Liberia, Libya.
Even he went up to South Africa.
Exactly. So even Rwanda at the same time. This is somebody who is ready. And at the age of 58, then this is an experienced coach with no doubt using the right procedures and approach. And tactically, if he is able to read the game very well from the start, then there will be no doubt to see him win something for Vipers this in his first stint at the club.
All right, Ivan Becky, if you look at his pictorials, he looks like Louis van Gaal of formerly of Manchester United, and we are yet going to see how he will be actually sampling that team of sports club. The Vipers in there, and we are yet going to see how he will be making amends with the sports club Vipers in what we call a continental showpiece. Remember, Vipers will be playing in what we call the CAF Champions League. That's the preliminaries in there. Will he be in a position to go past that stage in there? That will be the time when we shall see a team Vipers actually representing us in what we call the CAF Champions League group stages in there. But the reality is they are yet going to play in what we call the group stages, and if they make it through, definitely this team will be making us proud. Remember, they are the only two clubs in Uganda who have gone through that level. It's only KCC and Vipers who have gone actually through the preliminary stages in there. So we shall be actually waiting to see how this guy in the names of Aigaban Jackie will be making amends for team Vipers. Remember, he is from Belgium, and Belgians always have their own idea. Always their own ideology, always their own actual game style in there. So we are going to see how he is going to assemble actually that team of Vipers that has got enough actual talented players in there. So we are going to see, like I said earlier, how interesting he will assemble that team. And remember, Vipers will be playing not only in that, they will be playing the Southern Ghana Premier, there's Uganda Cup, and other games are also here. So a matter of him assembling that team, and definitely with his experience of winning silverwares, probably you may see him being that actual coach who can take Viper to the next level in there. So, but Peter, let's talk about Manchester United finally. The breakthrough for Brian Mbeumo is finally done, and this guy is set to join Manchester United very soon. And after United agreeing around 70 million pounds for his services, is Brian Mbeumo the perfect one for Manchester United? You remember, Manchester United said they would be signing a striker after Brian Mbeumo in there. So, how good is Brian Mbeumo for Manchester United?
Gero hinted something off air and about this same guy. He's a very good player, I should say. We all know how best last season he was for Team Brentford. And one big thing we need to understand is nowadays every club is thinking of making money. And my doubt is he worth that very particular price tag is the $1 million question. And to me, of late, players of his caliber, of his quality, wouldn't rate even that price tag of like 70 plus something and so on. So I think we need now leave that out. It has been a story of a long due, and making it happen this time will be very good news for Manchester United. We all know that very many attackers of Manchester United have gone off their form. We talk about, you will never forget to talk about the likes of Jadon Sancho, who are out of budget, who are surplus to requirement at Manchester United, who are not even in the budget of the coach. You will never forget to talk about Marcus Rashford, and not forgetting this young lad in the names of Yeah, this Argentine in the names of Garnacho, Alejandro Garnacho. See, these are some of the players who seems to be out of the budget of the coach, that is Ruben Amorim. So I believe bringing in Brian Mbeumo is going to add that energy you'll always want from an attacker to disturb, to disorganize the defenders or the defense line of some of the big clubs. Like you won't forget to talk about the likes of Virgil van Dijk, who has been a very big, gigantic defender. Then he needs to meet someone like Brian Mbeumo. So basically about him, I don't have much reservations with an English Premier League experience and with every other experience that you will ever talk about, the dribbling qualities. He also equally has eye for the goal. You see, this is an attacker or a winger who can get for you those goals you'll always want, can give you those passes you want for the striker to just tap into the back of the net. So I believe in him. Manchester United has got a very good quality player to up the game, up front. Yep.
Okay, Peter, let us talk about how Manchester United will be assembling with this guy. Remember, they have acquired the services of Matheus Cunha from Wolves, and this guy is already into the mix. And the latest we're getting is that Brian Mbeumo is the latest creature that United has got at their disposal. And the other report that Ruben Amorim is looking at, he's talking about Emiliano Martinez of Aston Villa. He's talking about Oli Watkins again of Aston Villa, and he talked about Douglas Luiz of Team Juventus in there. Is Manchester United actually going on track when it comes to signing players? Remember, they are kind of going for players who have got the Premier League experience, and they are going for physical players. So, how would we assemble that team of Manchester United with the current actual signings that they have done? That just means that Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes will be given special roles at United. Remember, Casemiro is equal there. Are they going to be given special roles with the acquisition of these two guys?
I don't think that will work out. You know, Ruben Amorim is someone who works on the current state of the player. If you perform in the last training and the movements you make in the pitch, in the training ground, favors his eyes, then definitely you'll see yourself in the squad. So I believe what he has done will only bring in competition among these players. And that will mean if all perform very well, then at a time you expect a third leg in the pitch, then you will have to, he will definitely do the substitution. Then the player that comes in will have to produce result for you. So I believe it's not a matter of coming into allow some players maybe rest on the bench or given special roles to play, but it is all about motivating the players to all work hard to see that they get the favor of the coach and the team pick results time in, time out. So there's nothing much about the coming of the two, but I just believe they have come in to add something into the United's team, because at in very many occasions last season when Bruno is down, then the whole team is down. So I think that is one thing he should be working hard to work out at Manchester United. And then at the same time, I believe Ruben Amorim is looking at players who can fit very well in his style of play and the formation as well. So there's no doubt about bringing these attackers, but I think the main objective, or is the main target up next after the bringing in of these two players, should be the goalkeeping department. At the same time, adding a top-notch striker in case he's not so much going to rely on Rasmus Højlund.
Of course, he said he's going to sign a striker already.
Yeah, so I think those will be some of the additions that will really help Manchester United, and I believe so much that Manchester United is going to be a different United compared to last season's United, because I believe much time is being given. Ruben Amorim should have understood the team better and his players as well. So I believe this season is going to be a better one for Manchester United compared to last season.
All right, that's according to Peter. He thinks that the Manchester United will be having a good run of form in what we call a 2025-2026 Premier League season. So we are going to see how this team will be assembling in there. But let's talk, go into to North London and talk about Arsenal Football Club. Remember, the latest we're getting is that they've gone actually a step away of actually a problem of signing a player in the names of Victor Gyökeres, whom they've been chasing for a very long period of time, and this guy is set to join Arsenal Football Club over the weekend. His medical is already been booked over the weekend. Victor Gyökeres will be having his medical with Arsenal Football Club. Again and again, we have talked about this guy, and Arsenal Football Club has been desperately in need of a striker. And the last time that Arsenal actually had a national striker was way back when the likes of Danny Welbeck were in, but he was not all that actually consistent when it comes to scoring goals for Arsenal Football Club. But you could talk about one of their prolific goal scorers in the names of Robin van Persie. When he actually, by the time he left for Manchester United, Arsenal got someone who can score for them goals in the names of Alexis Sanchez. But now they have got a player in the names of Victor Gyökeres, who has scored 39 goals last season for Sporting CP in what we call in La Liga down in Portugal, and this guy has actually set to put pen to paper on a 7-year, actually on 5 years contract with Arsenal Football Club worth £8 million. That's the money that Arsenal is set to pay for actually a player in the names of Victor Gyökeres, and then 10 million on add-ons. So that means in case he'll be performing very well, in case he'll be winning trophies actually at Arsenal, that's when Arsenal will fully pay a money of around £90 million for Victor Gyökeres in there.
Oh, this is a very good news for Arsenal Football Club and the fans as well, because it has been a story ever since the transfer window opened. Up to now, we are still talking about Victor Gyökeres being linked to a move to Arsenal Football Club. But I think concluding this deal will be a very good news, because it is on paper that within this weekend he will be able to cross on to undergo his medical at Arsenal Football Club.
Yes.
Then if that happens, then it will be a very good news for Arsenal Football Club, because this is a player who has proven himself, a proven striker, I should say, at the age of 27, an experienced striker you'll ever talk about. Last season, he banked more than every other European player.
Yes, 39 goals.
39 goals. So definitely you will think at Arsenal Football Club, with the crop of players that are going to surround him, then definitely Arsenal will live to smile. And of course, this is a Victor Gyökeres who sometime back, before crossing to Sporting CP,
yes,
played in the English Premier League for teams like Brighton and Coventry City. Yeah, Brighton and Hove Albion, Coventry City. Sometime back he played for these clubs. That means he has an experience of English Premier League. So I want so much think of, will he perform or will he adapt the English Premier League style of play? Then the question, the answer is definitely yes. At his age, with the experience, and with his energy, definitely that the power he has in finishing those goals, the goal scoring skills. So he has every attribute of a striker you will all need at your club. So Arsenal getting such a figure definitely means, in case he comes, Arsenal is going to be a different Arsenal, and we are going to see something unique. And it won't be a surprise if this guy comes to Arsenal and Arsenal wins something next season.
So you're predicting Arsenal?
I'm predicting something out of Arsenal, because comparing the goals the attacker scored last season, and of course finishing the season in the second place, then definitely, because this is a striker who is going to come in, first of all, compete for the Golden Boot. As the energy is splashed in competing for a Golden Boot, then the club will produce results time in, time out. Then at the end of the day, they can still be the champions. So that is how I'm actually predicting Arsenal Football Club with a player in the names of Victor Gyökeres next season for Arsenal Football Club.
Remember, Mikel Arteta has got a special task to perform right now, because Nuno Madueke is already at the ranks of Arsenal Football Club. We have got Gabriel Martinelli in that ranks. Nuno actually play in the names of Ethan Nwari is into that mix. Odegaard is into that mix. Then
Martin Zubimendi that they acquired recently.
Kai Havertz is in there. Then let's talk about this guy in the name of Mikel Merino is into that mix. And then Bukayo Saka is into that mix. PJ, first give me your front three that you prefer that Mikel Arteta will be using. I think I'm quite sure he will not be changing from 4-3-3 formation to go and play in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Who will you bench out of all these attackers that Arsenal has got at their disposal right now?
You see, one big factor we need to understand about Arsenal is they are going to take part in very many games.
Yeah.
You have a certain UEFA Champions League awaiting for you. You have English Premier League to take part in. You have FA Cup to play in. You have Carabao Cup to play in. So definitely you need that squad depth. there are going to be some crop of players who will be given that task. There are some particular teams you will definitely need their presence. So I believe getting all these players is not a bad idea, or it's not going to, but it will go down to him on how best he can make decision who to start and so on. So if you talk about the front three, then definitely you will have Bukayo Saka. No need for you to bench this guy because he has been the darling of Arsenal Football Club of late. Then Victor Gyökeres will definitely be in the box to get for you that goal. Then on the other side, you need to go by a certain Martinelli, who...
You're going to know Madueke.
Yeah, Madueke should first understand certain few things, though he has every attributes, every quality to get in those goals. You start Martinelli. We all know how athletic he is. He can run past the defenders and give you those kind of passes. So that will be
But Martinelli has got a unique character with Madueke when it comes to comparing the two. You remember, yes, like you rightly said, he's very athletic.
Yeah.
But when it comes to dribbling, he's not matching to that.
Not so much, yeah.
When it comes to assisting, he's not matching to that. But when you give him that space, that's when he can score against you. So that just means that Nuno Madueke will sit first and go and sit on the bench and watch how Martinelli is playing for us. It's obvious that they will be actually competing in that position with Martinelli because of Martinelli's issues. Remember, he's not all that actually a goal scoring attacker for Arsenal in there.
There's a say that the old broom sweeps better than the new one. I mean, the new broom sweeps better than the new one, but the old one knows all the corners. So there's a need for you to give that respect. I believe with time, then you introduce Madueke as a substitute, then he will definitely deliver for you because at the onset, starting him won't give a very good, because he will think, so I'm the favorite. Then he will relax to some extent. He may not perform. So starting him on the bench and giving him the opportunity as a substitute will definitely make him work extra hard in order to produce results for you. So I believe starting Martinelli won't be a bad idea because you'll definitely need him to give hard time for the defenders, to keep the defenders on toes. Then the big deal is done by Gyökeres and the man Bukayo Saka himself. So that is how I'm looking at it, and I believe it will work for Arsenal Football Club.
Okay, PJ, let's come to a tactical area, and we still talk about Arsenal Football Club. But remember, Mikel Arteta has been with this team for close to 5 seasons now, and he has been so consistent when it comes to finishing in the second position, and he has only won one trophy with this team, that was the FA Cup. And then other than that, he has never won any other trophy with this team, but he has come close to winning other trophies for Arsenal Football Club. Does it mean that the coming of Andrea Berta, remember he got issues with Andrea Berta about signing after strikers. Andrea Berta preferred Victor Gyökeres, whom they are signing over the weekend, and Mikel Arteta preferred Benjamin Sesko of RB Leipzig, and the reality here is now who has got more authority over who. Now, why I'm bringing this point is does it mean that all this money that Arsenal is spending on the transfer market, is that they're so much desperate that this club needs to win silverwares right now, because in the UEFA Champions League, they extremely performed well. They were ejected by at some good at some good level,
finals,
of course. So does it mean that Arsenal Football Club is desperate to win trophy? Or else, if they don't win trophy, does it mean that Mikel Arteta should leave the club?
One thing we need to understand about Arsenal as a club is, that aspect of finishing second, moving close to winning something and getting huge amount of money has been their celebrations of late. Because if Arsenal really needed trophies, then by now Mikel Arteta shouldn't be at the club.
Yes.
Because on several occasions where the fans were expecting big out of him was when he would not even win anything. Then at the end of the day, he finishes second, then the club celebrates, and no speculation comes like he's about to be sacked. So looking at the bringing in of Victor Gyökeres and spending such a big amount of money on a player definitely means they have realized that Arsenal actually has a potential of winning big trophies. But that angle is one thing that has been missing for Arsenal Football Club. Then heading in for this and trusting this guy to come in and splashing that amount of money means they are now thinking of winning certain things like big trophies. You talk about the English Premier League, you talk about the UEFA Champions League, Carabao Cup. These are some of the trophies that they may want to win.
But the point is, you see, this team has been so close when it comes to winning trophies, like I said.
Yes.
And they've been consistent enough. But when it comes to finishing points, that's when things start also going out of down for us football club. What's down to squad depth, because right now they're having the squad depth at the team, and it's high time that this team needs to do something.
You see, those were some of the factors. At a certain point, Bukayo Saka was out injured,
yes,
and they had issues. Arsenal could not win every game that came their way. At a certain point, Thomas Partey was out injured. He knew what happened there as well.
Yes.
It was because they did not have that squad depth. And then at a time, Bukayo Saka doesn't score for you those goals, then expect Arsenal to either draw and so on, then the number of goals reduce. And then you find the opponents, always other competing clubs, getting more goals and so on. Then at the end of the day, they fail to win anything. So these decisions are very clear that Arsenal are now looking at winning something. And that's the reason as to why they are spending money to bring in quality players, experienced players. So there's nothing we're going to expect out of always in the presence of Victor Gyökeres apart from winning a trophy. And trust me, if this doesn't happen this coming season, then expect Mikel Arteta to now leave, because a lot of things are going to happen. You see, that aspect of trusting, I think at this point of disagreeing first before the CEO going in for the striking the names of Victor Gyökeres, definitely, and Andre Bata, sporting director, I mean, going in for this is because they wanted a ready material. You know, Benjamin Sesko at the age of 22, this is still a player who doesn't have, he's not yet proven. You can never compare him to strikers like Erling Braut Haaland. You can't compare him to strikers like Victor Gyökeres. Then the likes of, you'll mention many other strikers that you cannot compare Benjamin Sesko to, because it is only 2 seasons back that he proved to be one of the upcoming strikers. So definitely the director going in for Victor Gyökeres means that he's up to something, and that something is winning a trophy. So it is very clear, and a clear picture.
PJ.
And of course, adapting to English Premier League is another big question, because because of the experience of some of the strikers. I will mention Manchester United Rasmus Højlund, who has suffered locally when he was one of the best in the league he came from. So all these are factors.
PJ, if you were to argue with you argue for a very long period of time, but the reality is Arsenal needed a striker in the name of Benjamin Sesko, in my own view, because this is the team that's building up to a squad that wants to dominate the English football. And I thought it very wise that Mikel Arteta was very right to see that this guy needs to come on. But he's still 22 years old. He needed to come and adapt to the English Premier League, play in the FA Cup, play in the Champions League, play in the Premier League, play in the the Carabao Cup, get the experience, get the physicality. That's when he was just fitting for Arsenal Football Club. Victor Gyökeres will be a short-term actual plan for Team Arsenal Football Club. To me, Arsenal Football Club rushed with that decision of signing a player in the names of Victor Gyökeres, in my own, because of his age. Much as he has got the Premier League experience, but he is not the type of player that I would fancy for Mikel Arteta in there. But let's leave that and talk about Liverpool. One of the biggest is that they are interested in strikers. So their priority was to first sell Darren Núñez, but now the reality is the team that was much interested for his services was Napoli of Italy. But now the reality is Napoli says this deal cannot be called off, so they are no longer interested in Darren Núñez. So the latest we're getting in is that Liverpool wants us to strikers. They talked about Philip Mateta of Crystal Palace. They talked about Marco Olise of Aston Villa. They talked about Victor Osimhen. They talked about Hugo Ekitike. They talked about a striker in the names of Alexander Isak. Actually, Newcastle actually put his price tag at around 150 million pounds in there. So the latest we're getting is that they are really chasing for the services of Real Madrid, actually out to focus player in the names of Rodrigo. So does Liverpool need actually a natural striker? Remember, they have been playing without a natural striker. They've been using their winger to score for those goals. They've been using the midfielder to score for them those goals. So does it mean that with the presence of Fernando Ruiz, who is much into assisting, do they need actually a natural actually forward to see that every ball that comes in the box is tapped actually at the back of the net. So these are the options that I've mentioned here. Is all this whom will you prefer out of all these actual strikers that they think Liverpool needs to sign in there? So you were basically talking about experience. Whom will you go for? Will you go for Victor Osimhen? Will you go for Isaac? Or will you go for Hugo Ekitike?
I want to start from the argument we left on the way. Anyway, it's no longer an argument, though you shut it down already.
Yeah.
One thing you need to understand is more time has been given for Mikel Arteta. And going in for somebody who is coming to prove himself, who is going to take 2-3 seasons, won't give him that mileage of remaining at the club. You may end up being sacked on the way. So I think that decision of bringing a ready material is very ideal for Mikel Arteta at the same time the club. Anyway, shifting the focus to Liverpool Football Club, just definitely understand that Liverpool needs that striker because you definitely won't expect Mo Salah to score those number of goals he scored last season because the age is as well increasing. Then some of the players, you'll talk about Diego Jota, who has been his darling assist maker as well, is no longer. So you definitely need a striker. After doing a lot of reshufflements, add-ons in the rest of the areas. So I believe they have so much been talking about Ekitike, and the question will be, if he comes to the English Premier League, will he adapt to the English Premier League very fast? Will he get in those number of goals? And the other issue is, I think it's going to be ideal for them to still leave Darwin Núñez at the club and bring in somebody to come and compete with him, because he already has the experience, and he may pick up better next season. So going in for Ekitike, I think of late he has been that player you want to watch. So definitely, if the money was there and you wanted somebody experienced who has the knowledge of English Premier League, then Isaac would be a very big ideal idea for us. Liverpool Football Club. Yes, because he already has the experience, he has the energy, he has everything. Very tall, aerial balls, very good. Then every attributes of a striker, you'll definitely find them on him.
That's according to PJ in there, but the reality is, according to me, Hugo Ekitike will be the perfect one for Liverpool Football Club. Remember, they are not all that reliable on strikers, and they have got Pacey and quick up to the winger who can score for those goals. And Florian Wirtz is here to support. The striker who will be coming in that number 10 role to see that the passes are given. Remember, they have been lacking a player of his caliber. Remember, by the time when Roberto Firmino left there, by the time when Felipe Coutinho left them, Liverpool have been lacking behind when it comes to scoring important goals. So Florian Wirtz is here, and we shall be seeing how this guy will be making amends in there. So let's leave that and go back to Spain and talk about Real Madrid. Remember, they are interested in selling away 3 good players to fund for the services of Chelsea midfield in the names of Enzo Fernandez. Remember, this guy has been so influential for Chelsea Football Club by the time when he crossed over from playing for his national team that's in the what called the FIFA Club. From the winning the FIFA World Cup in there. So at Chelsea Football Club, he has been so impressive, and he has been a consistent performer for Team Chelsea Football Club, and Enzo Moresca, who has been a silverware with the team of late. So they are looking for the signature of this actually very guy in the names of Enzo Fernandez. So Xabi Alonso is saying that he wants to offload players who are out of his favor, and these players need to find their own clubs. So the player that he's talking about, including Rodrigo, who Liverpool is talking about, Arsenal is talking about, and every club is talking about his services. Eduardo Camavinga is the latest player that he also talked about, and then the latest we are getting is Fran Garcia. Is that all these players need to find a way to find a move for midfielder in the names of Enzo Fernandez. Is this the ideal move for Team Real Madrid? Remember, Luka Modric has left the club, and Vasquez has equally left the club.
One thing you need to understand, or we need to understand, is when a new coach or manager comes into a club, will definitely have his own opinions and his own style of play and so on. So definitely that decision, I really don't want to question it, because talking about Enzo Fernandez, like I even said before their game against PSG, I said the game relies, Chelsea so much in that very game will rely on the midfield, and which midfield was the brilliance of Angel Fernandez and Moise Caicedo. So those were the two players, and they did their part very well, and that's why they were able to manage PSG easily. So I believe Real Madrid chasing this guy is going to add a very big impact into the midfield of Real Madrid, and the question will be, is he going to be that midfielder you'll ever rely on? Because crossing from English Premier League to the La Liga, definitely somebody will think La Liga is more easier to adapt than English Premier League. So definitely he is a very good player, and if he crosses to that side, then it will be a very big deal. And the question is as well, is Enzo Maresca ready to lose him? Because his project definitely needs him, and that's why he has been a favorite in that midfield of Chelsea Football Club. So I believe this is just a speculation, and if at all the team of Chelsea right now is built in the midfield, I don't see this guy crossing to Real Madrid at this material time.
You remember, Real Madrid are very actually much in spending when it comes to the transfer window. They can actually win and break the bank and sign players. Remember, they've been signing players on Batman rule. One of the latest was friend Alexander Arnold. So they also talked about Ibrahim Konate also crossing over to Real Madrid on Bosman rule. So let's first travel to Italy, and the latest we're getting from there is Juventus are really much interested in signing Jadon Sancho on permanent basis now, and the reality is now this guy is crossing over to Juventus, and Marcus Rashford is also set to cross over to Fenerbahce to see that they leave their actual errors at United. Remember, all these players have not been in good conduct with the current United coach in the names of Ruben Amorim. So Jadon Sancho crossing over to Juventus, Marcus Rashford crossing over to Fenerbahce.
Good news for the particular players. You talk about Rashford and the man Jadon Sancho, because these are players who have been out of favour at Manchester United, and getting that opportunity will definitely make them feel happy and hype their game, and maybe once again we see them play under Thomas Tuchel with the national team, that is England national team. You see, the issue at Manchester United is, I like saying this, of late there has been bad business done at United, and that's the reason that's why they are suffering, because these were, talking about Jadon Sancho as a player, he was bought at high price, but now going to be sold. I think Manchester United to some extent is in the losing side when it comes to making money here. Then maybe Rashford, who was a graduate from the academy at United, then he needs to go so that he gets that time of playing for the national team, because remaining at United definitely means he won't get that chance anymore because he has been out of favour. We all saw him perform very well at Aston Villa, and coming back to United won't be a very big and good deal for him. I think those decisions are very good at this time, and then it will give room for United to at least sign some players when these ones are let go, because the rule is all about balancing the books. As you sell players, you need to bring in players. So that is how I look at it. It's just, it favors the players more than the club itself. So very good move, good news for both players.
All right, listeners, viewers, we have come to the end of our program here. This is Sararights TV. I had been me, Gero, hosting this one. Then I had the privilege of hosting my good friend and my actual brother in the name of Bonapide. With him, we come from the land of wise men. That's Terego. Bonapide, your final words before we leave the studio.
Nothing big, nothing much. I just want to say very good evening to the viewer of Sararights TV. It's one of the amazing and wonderful TVs I've ever come across and got the opportunity to be in. It's all about watching and sharing the videos and so on to give that mileage. At the same time, people are going to follow you more, because when you share this, somebody is going to always look for when you're going to share. Then you will find you will also have very many likes and views. So that is how we're expecting you to do it. But I want to say it has been a pleasure to be here with you, Gero.
All right, thank you so much. That's PJ's actually the last mark in there. We're out of here. Up next is the Islamic hour, which will be coming up after shortly in there. We are so proud that you guys have been giving us that mileage of watching us all the time from Monday up Saturday, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. It's really a very big deal to be with you always here on Sararights TV, and we give you the best in the game of football. We're out of here. Bye-bye. only time commanded after the champion.
We celebrate our nation, our future. You stand up and believe in the beautiful game of football.
This is man Onduparaka alone Zoroba. That's commented here. Thanks for the update.